Okay. All right, baby. Jeez. All right, everybody. Oh my God. Okay. Just so you know, this morning, it was a little hell this morning. It was. I will not lie. It was a little bit of hellish this morning because yesterday was really bad. If you can remember last year when I could barely move, I could barely eat, I could barely drink, I couldn't even get out of bed and everything. I mean, it was literally really, really bad. Like I was completely incapacitated. Okay. That was last year. And that was around July 4th. This year, July 4th came around, another major frequency shift. Why do I say July 4th? Because here's the thing. Some of you know, and some of you don't know, things have been modified. Things are being modified. And there's big machines that do it. Okay. And there's specific times that it's done. So last July 4th, it was like the official turning of the CERN, which is a Large Hadron Collider, a particle accelerator. And of course, all the different holidays and whatever, the frequencies go really insane. Well, this last frequency shift was pretty insane. But instead of being completely incapacitated, like condensed for like a week and then have so many weeks afterwards just building up and getting stronger, it's like I get these intermittent type of feelings of heartbeats and maybe hives, blowing my nose really hard, fatigue. And even when I went to West Virginia, I mean, I was still dealing with it. But yesterday, the storm came around and it was so aggressive, like so aggressive. And I've been dealing with hives on and off the last month. This whole July, I've been dealing with hives on and off. But last night, it was like after being up in the morning and taking care of stuff, and then my husband and I go and get lunch, dinner type of thing, and it was like lobster. I had lobster and I had steak and I had mashed potatoes or a potato. And I was just, when I got home, I even felt a little bit off kilter, but I'm like, whatever, I'll deal with it. Even when I got home, I was so tired, so I took a nap. And I woke up just with a headache. And I had a headache, pretty much fighting a headache yesterday all day. And then the hives. So the fatigue, the hives, and just feeling like, geez, I need to rest. And so this morning, or actually last night, oh my gosh, I was itching. Like last night I was itching my back, then I was itching on my front, just itching everywhere. It was crazy. It was crazy. And it's not even hot when you think about it, because it was hot before the storm. It was really hot. And then now we're at a cool down. So we had that major storm. Now we're at a cool down, and it's still, I mean, it's cool, but it's still like hot because temperature in my body is like up and down, up and down. But I had a major headache this morning. And so I had to release so many demons the way I do in my book. And let me just piggyback on that whole thing about my book. There is a book exposing the lies, because I see people selling it on eBay for like $48. And so I went back to my old publisher and re-released the ebook for, I actually released the ebook for $9. And so I guess people are buying it and they're sending me messages like, hey, where's your first book? Because in that book of 2018, they said, oh, look at my first book. It's on my website. But no, that was in 2018. So anyways, I am undercutting my own competitors with my own book with an ebook from Lulu or Amazon. I think it was Amazon, not Lulu. But yeah, and Lulu to Amazon. So anyways, there's that. But really go to my current book, Another Arm of the Hydra. That's the most current information. Okay. And so anyways, so yeah, this morning I just released the demons, like I said in my book, and it was just, oh my God. Like I could feel the pain of releasing. Like that's the thing about pain, is you got to deal with it in your head. And I didn't think I'd be having the headaches like I have been, but hey, whatever. But when I released those demons, that pressure, it totally just took away the pain. So you really have to release those demons the way I have on my book. There is absolutely no way anything out there in the medical holistic system is going to help you until you understand your own alimentary canal. There is nothing. And because every single time I release those demons the way I do, I have relief. I mean, it takes a minute to get my body recalibrated. But yesterday I felt like I was falling apart, but not like what you think, like having a mental crisis. It was just like I felt my body physically feel like it was fighting something, trying to tear it apart. Fighting the headaches, fighting everything. It was crazy. And so I had to relax and lay down when I got home and even take a nap. So I got home around like 2:30 or 3, and I think I slept for like 2 hours because I'm like, oh my God. And I finally got up and it was like 7:20. I felt a little bit active at 7:30 at night. And then I went back to sleep. And then I felt this morning, early in the morning, just hives everywhere. And so I said hives, excessive heat. Okay, all the excessive heat the last week was... we were told from Wednesday to Saturday, excessive heat. And so, yeah, so hives, excessive heat, and all food will bring up so many different allergies and growth. So yes, eating food is going to bring up growth because you're not only pushing out the demons, but you're also developing new cells. You are repairing damaged cells from wherever. And so this morning, when I was just in the middle of scratching and feeling all these weird different ways, I was saying the food is pushing out the damage because, yeah, I'm eating lobster and that has collagen, right? And other stuff. And I'm eating steak and I'm eating food, and that food is releasing those demons. So when I release the demons the next morning, I have now a carrier force to carry out all the damage. It's when people don't eat the Appalachian food. Okay, when you're eating just veggies, that's not a bunch of a carrier force to carry out stuff. You got to have something substantial like meat and potatoes and heavy, heavy stuff like gluten. Okay, because even when I eat frosted mini wheats, all that mini wheat stuff is like, it helps carry out all the crap. But when people hardly ever eat and they're skinny and they hardly ever eat, or they eat only spicy food and veggies, there is nothing the body can convert really, and nothing for the body to carry out. There's nothing to it. That's what I'm saying. You have to eat a lot to release the demons. And so you have this, what do you call it? Where you get, when the energy takes from you and you're replenishing, you're paying your body back plus interest. So you have that extra to convert. See, so let me go down my timeline, okay? And yeah, because it's the only way. I'm just gonna go through the whole thing. So I said, resistance equals conductive. That is why resistance is futile. You must assimilate. Death is from resistance to life. Okay? The medical, holistic, anti-GMO, anti-VACC, anti-chemtrails is all about resistance to life and resistance to the environment and to the government. And people are conducting all the energy they think they are resisting. Good morning, Audrey. Okay? That is why people are aging out and dying suddenly. Resistance and starvation. Watch people focus on only one metal or element, or focus only on one food, or demonizing one metal, one element, or one food, or different types of food. They will sell you everything under the sun as the newest cure. 100% cured equals death. Resistance equals, hey Audrey, resistance equals cure equals death. Okay? Watch out for the silver-tongued slaves to cures. Watch out for the pretty girl selling you tincture or a remedy. Death is beautiful and it has no boundaries. Okay, so all these pretty girls selling you all their tinctures and their MLM stuff, and they're working out and selling you their pills and their powders and their yoga regimes and their meditation stuff, and they're gorgeous, or there's some matriarch that everyone respects so much because she's so full of wisdom. That's what lays the groundwork for people to follow into the death world, is because all the pretty girls or the matronly matriarchs that are selling you their version of wisdom, and they're selling you a path to major energy conversion that some people cannot afford, and they pass away. Died suddenly. And so, now I'm not trying to ruin anyone's business, okay? I'm really not. But you have to understand both sides. People have been critical of me and my information way back when, and deservedly so, because I didn't fully glean out every single aspect of the J juice and the J world and what to expect. So I had a lot of critics. But back then, I was the only one doing the whole thing with the J juice and fermentation. as far as drinking a bunch of it with a bunch of salt. But there are people out there, not just this person, I'm not going to say who the person is, but there's so many people out there selling people EMF protectors, selling people copper metal, selling people like tinfoil shit. That's where the whole tinfoil hat conspiracy stuff is, right? Comes from. And so I'm going to make a generalization to those who are selling people 1 metal, 2 metals, all their different protective gear for this environment, which you really can't protect anyone from an environment because you are in the environment. The solar radiation is EMF, okay? The solar radiation is the heat that causes electromagnetic frequencies in the body. And when people are putting metal on their body, they're conducting those frequencies and causing then the body to go through a faster energy conversion. Just like when you're wearing crystals all over your body, you're reflecting all the EMF, the light that is being cast right through, reflecting out, but also reflecting in, and people are having major energy conversion, and they're aging out very quickly because of that energy. And so people are selling silver-lined clothing in this heat. Oh my God, they think that they're being protected from radiation. Global warming, high heat causes cancer, disease, chronic illness, and causes so much energy conversion on bodies in deficit. And so when I said fear will make you do things you never intended, this is why I'm done with activism, because people are selling people all these different protocols. I mean, even the J juice back then, it was very ionic. It woke up people's systems that were trying to find the opposite. They're trying to find more relief, but I was kept waking up stuff. And we had, because where I got it from was because of the holistic world and their Herxheimer syndrome. When you're detoxing, you're feeling stuff. So we were already okay with feeling stuff, but how do you respond to feeling stuff was more to the issue, was more to the point. We couldn't keep trying to do the same thing and stopping the body from releasing. When we woke up the demons, you can't then stop the demons when you wake them up. That's counterproductive. So if you're going to wake up demons, how do you respond to demons that are waking up? Why do you call them demons? Because it's all this energy that you're not used to. It's things in your body waking up that were put to sleep for years. And so, yeah, so when you wake shit up, you're going to have to feed it. But people don't do that in the holistic world. They wake shit up with all of their metal shit and whatever detoxes, but then they go and slam right back down again and cause the body to then double back later on when all the conditions are right. And so remember, crystals conduct EMF, heat. What is silver a good conductor of? Silver, the single most conductive metal. Silver conducts heat and electricity efficiently thanks to its unique crystal structure and single valence electron. And so again, while people are selling people all this stuff that has silver lining, different metals, they think there's going to be a protection, like a Faraday cage. You're then causing heat to stay. Because how do I figure this out? Because this whole thing, want to keep warmer? Wear silver. That's in Daily Mail, co.uk. So while on one hand, I guess if you want to protect yourself from radiation, I can understand wearing things, but that's if you're like running the microwave and it's like a Faraday cage. There's all this protection around the microwave. So when your food is being microwaved, you're not getting all this crazy ass rays. That's when you're using things to protect you from EMF. Okay? But simply wearing a suit lined with silvery things to protect you from EMF, no, it's going to conduct heat and make you warmer. Okay? So scientists from Stanford University create a cloth which reflects heat and it also keeps you warm. Hold on, let me read this real quick. Want to keep warm? Wear silver. Cotton coated with a microscopic metal wire traps 80% of body heat and can even be like an electric blanket. All right? And so, what did I say about this? Oh. Yeah, so fabric is able to trap 80% of the body heat because the tiny silver wires reflect infrared radiation back towards the body. Okay? Because you are radiation. You are infrared. You are energy. A piece of the new cloth was cut out in an S shape and placed in the palm top right using heat-sensitive camera. The researchers showed it able to block all human radiated IR, keeping up the heat inside, so that S shape looks blue bottom right. So anyways, you're then causing energy conversion in your body by trapping that heat in your body. People don't realize that. They think they're protecting themselves from stuff out there, but then you're trapping heat in there and you're causing the body to warm up. That's global warming. Okay? When you're trapping heat in a troposphere by doing stratospheric type of particle reflecting back, where it's who knows, it's only shade. Well, no, not only shade. That's the opposite. When you're trapping it by then keeping not allowing stuff to come out, so it traps heat and all this other stuff. That's what these suits are doing. They're trapping heat in the body, causing personal global warming, and that's what causes all your cancer, disease, and chronic illness. You have to release the heat. You have to stay cool. And people who in this environment wearing silver, holy shit, I can't. Yeah. So you got to look at both sides. These people who are like all about selling people stuff, right? They're only looking at one side and they don't look at both sides, and so then they shoot themselves in the foot. Literally, they do. Okay, sorry. Hold on. People who are like all about. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. So the next thing. Remember, for every good thing, there is also a downside to it. And people who are only one-sided will only look at one side but not the other. They'll find all the articles that support their one side, but they will not find articles that then say, okay, maybe you shouldn't do this for your intention. But people who are one-sided, don't do that. Okay, so I want to remind people, hello, remember, I'm not advocating starvation, remedies, surgeries, and herbs or tinctures. I'm also not advocating Faraday cages. No, you have to respond to your energy conversion with food and release the way that I have it in my book. There's no other fucking way. I'm advocating all food in the food supply and even all food that you were told was poison or allergic to. And so I am nothing like the holistic medical health or wellness world, okay? And again, remember a couple of years ago when I was trying to prove how spicy food is like a lot of heavy metals. Well, yeah, you can convert those spicy foods into heavy metals, but using so many spicy foods is like using so many heavy metals to stop the body from evolving. Copper, silver, etc. No different than using so much bentonite clay and zeolite, all the same type of intentions. Detoxes, extremely heavy negative elements or too many positive elements on bodies who want to cure energy eventually die suddenly. Okay? So spicy food, always using those different detoxes. I even used it. Okay, I did the bentonite clay. I did the diatomaceous earth. I did all that, and no, that's what fucks you up even more. And so you want to stay away from everything that people recommend you in the medical, holistic, energy healing world because it will work against you. Okay? Oh, yeah, particle acceleration. Aggressive particle acceleration will also make things larger because the more you eat, the more your body replicates. Your body will take on more substance than it can release to ensure it has enough reserves for another climate change. That's why you have to eat more than usual in this environment and also have more weight to you because you will need that extra insurance to convert energy when the world is taking energy from you and when this environment really kicks up. And so your body is smarter than what most people give their body credit for. And so you need belly, you need thighs, and women, you need bigger boobs. You need to be the size relative to how strong the energy in your environment. So if you're in a really hot place, you need to be bigger. If you're in a hot place, you need to be bigger because that's going to be your house. It's going to help you regulate your temperature. But when you're skinny, there is no temperature regulation. You are now going to be cannibalized by your environment. And so, however, conversely, if you are not eating to the level of the aggressive particle acceleration and you're all about being skinny, the environment will continuously activate the microbes in your body to cannibalize you because you do not have enough substance to keep you alive and your microbes satisfied. And so then it becomes the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail. If possible, handle the pain with food and release, outlined in my book, not using the J juice. You do not need it anymore. Because at some point, you guys, I know even people who are obese that think that they could do a bunch of J juice. No, you will eventually cure yourself. Even if you do it like once every 2 weeks, no. You do it to wake up the demons, but you don't even need to do it now. If you need to eat all food, milk, okay? Milk will make you shit. A lot of milk will make you shit. And you'll probably get all congested because you'll be building up proteins to go and release those demons. You need to leverage up here you need to leverage down there by doing things up here. What is that? Drinking milk and developing the proteins to then release those demons. Okay? You need to salt your food. That's salting in. But the environment is so ionic, it acts like the J juice. So you don't really need the J juice. You need to know how to open up your alimentary canal. And you have to cut your nails to do that. Okay? You have to. I drink some of my coffee. So moms, if you have such an issue with the environment today, warranting all types of resistance, right? Your kids do not stand a chance. So again, resistance is futile. You resist all the chemtrails, you're going to have more of them in your life. You resist all the V's, every single thing that you think is poison around the V's and people is going to come and torture you. You resist everything. You resist the heat in the environment, you're going to get hotter. You have to figure out how to stop resisting everything. You resist the government, they're going to come down on you even more. You resist anything, it's going to be more. That's the thing, is resistance. The more you resist, the more it will persist. What's it? Whatever you're resisting. So I've stopped resisting everything. I just block and delete things that I'm not wanting to deal with as far as the energy conversion. And I stopped fighting people. I stopped trying to convert people. I stopped even trying to, get all triggered. Sometimes I do, just depends. But if someone says something, like someone said something on Audrey's page, and I was like, whoa, I didn't go and try to convert that person. It was not my business to do that. And so sometimes I just leave shit alone because it's not worth it. Okay? And so you learn how to walk away from fights. You learn how to walk away from the wars. And if it's a war that you want to wage, then you better fucking win it. And if you don't know if you're going to win the war, then don't even bother doing it. But I know I can win any war when it comes to this information because I studied it for the last 7, even more so. I mean, I have 50 years under my belt. Okay, I'll be 50 next February. So I have a lot of years under my belt. I have enough experience to know that I'm going to win this fucking war. Because no one else is doing it. And I know how I feel after every single time there's an energy conversion. And I eat food and I release the demons. I release the pressure and I still have weight on me. And I know thermodynamics. I know physics. That's what's going on. People don't know physics. And so they don't have no idea what the fuck they're doing. And they're causing actually themselves to die suddenly at some point. Okay, so if you don't know physics, you will not win any fucking war. You won't. And so then, here's the thing about don't believe all the stories, understand the laws. Okay, so when you look at, I actually just watched that movie, They Cloned Tyrone on Netflix. At first I didn't want to watch it. I'm like, oh God, another type of movie that's all about, certain things. And I'm like, certain cultures. And I'm like, do I really want to watch this? But I did end up watching it last night. And I'm like, oh, no wonder they're thinking that Jamie Foxx is cloned because of this movie is suggesting that. But then somebody else had a different take on it, which, yeah, she should have to have that different take on it. And I finally figured out because there's something in there that said that this is what's going on. Yeah, you all been experiments. You all been cloned. That's why I always saw doppelgangers out there in the population. Like, wow, this person looks like this person. This person looks like this person. We all look the fucking same. Okay? Because we're all being cloned for so many different, and what do I mean by cloned? Well, it's easy you put people who are relatively, similar together, and then they have kids, or you look like the father or look like the mother. Okay, so that's the type of clone. Right now, the clone has gotten so good when you're reproducing, and we don't even know what happens in Hollywood. They say, oh yeah, here's a kid, and looks exactly like Jennifer Garner. That kid, or even Cindy Crawford. Okay? And so you don't really know to what extent the type of fertility treatments and the type of genetic editing to make people look exactly the same. All right? And so, anyways, but when we knew that Jamie Foxx was in the hospital, and I knew when people get sick and they get all the treatments, when they get sick, they get to treatments, they look years older. You see people come out of oncology. I've seen it even in my high school class. Some guy that looked relatively healthy before he went into oncology goes to oncology, and years have been taken off his life. Like years. Okay? And so if you don't understand physics and what remedies and surgeries and oncology does, then it's all magic. It's either that person's cloned or, who knows what people think when they see the Hollywood stars change in appearance. They think that, I don't know, people have all these conspiracy theories, right? That's where conspiracy theories have taken a crazy, crazy extreme. And so it's only magic when you don't understand the laws of physics. When someone is fighting disease and they're using all the remedies and surgeries and they stay away from certain foods, their body becomes decrepit. Remember, Jamie Foxx was in the hospital for a long time, and he won't say what he was in the hospital for. But when you lose substance, people who are starving, they shrink. They shrink progressively, okay? Staying cured is only relatively okay in a very less aggressive environment, like 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 100 years ago. During particle acceleration, which is right now, being cured, the environment will cannibalize the shit out of you. As those microbes stay in your body, eating you out from the inside, it changes your phenotypical characteristics. You've seen what I look like when I gained a bunch of weight because of energy conversion. My face blows up. I feel bigger. I even act like I'm carrying extra weight that I'm not used to. It's hard to carry extra weight that you're not used to. You have to learn how to get up. You have to learn how to do a bunch of stuff. Like the last couple of days, last week, it was just hell getting up. Hell, I'm sitting in the shower and I'm doing what I need to do and trying to get up in the shower. You're like, God, I hope I don't fall. As soon as I feel like, walking down the stairs, I might fall sometimes because I'm just like, dude, my whole body just feels heavy because of the energy conversion. Okay? And so during particle acceleration, being cured, the environment will cannibalize you. As those microbes stay in your body, eating you out from the insides, it changes your phenotypical characteristics. Try not to believe all the stories out there. Understand all the laws of physics, okay? Understand laws of biology, especially when you're in starvation. People think that Jamie Foxx was cloned. No, he's just now decrepit. He is now taken down so many notches. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is what it's like right now. It is so bad. Every morning I'm exercising these demons out of my body. Every freaking morning. Whether it's down there and releasing demons, or I'm just like blowing my nose, and sneezing and blowing my nose, and trying to just get acclimated to the new environment of the day, okay? It is work to stay alive. It is work not to go down the death path. The death path is beautiful. It's relatively pain-free until it's not. The death path is great until it's not. And so is getting sick every morning worth it? Well, in this environment, yeah, because you won't die. You'll have to keep replenishing and dealing with the energy that is involved every week, every single day. But when the environment calms down, who knows when, I have no idea, then my condition myself for this is going to be a gift because the environment won't be so aggressive that I'll be doing this every fucking morning. Right now what I'm dealing with is like a cold and flu season and a spring allergy season, like every single week. But I have to do it, or you die. If you resist it, you die. You will literally, especially relative to how much you come into this world at. And so right now, they're right, the old Jamie Foxx is gone, but ironically, it was the new Jamie Foxx that's gone. Now you get the more decrepit one. Now you see how religion has messed people up because they don't understand the laws of physics. They believe all the stories, right? Now you see how easy it is for missionaries to fool indigenous people. Give them a story and play magic with physics. That's how easy it is for Columbus to overtake the Native Americans. I said Indians, but Native Americans because it's more politically correct. They had access to physics. Who was they? Columbus. To physics, so the Indians did not have access to. Now you see how religion and traditions can destroy people. And so you see all the different Native Americans in their reservations and they're rebelling against the government and rejecting all the different, lab created food and everything. Everything's supposed to be like organic and all that. In this environment, you can't afford to be only on organic. You can't afford to be demonizing the food supply because it has so many elements that you're going to need in this environment. And when people are on only their organic diets and all of that, they waste away to nothing. They'll resist themselves out of existence. Okay? And so all politics, all religion, all science dogmas are stories. Even love is a story. Everything comes down to physics, chemistry, and biology, and math and English and words. Of course, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only converted. What are you converting from? What are you converting to? Okay? And what's the story? That's the world you live in. That's physics. And so all the stories out there that you're watching on TV and through post-religion and science, it's all how people explain geology, explain, all the different ways somebody used physics and magic to make you believe something and making you worship a dead person that will never, ever come back except through Hollywood when they go and recreate the stories. And you're like, oh, wow. Okay. And so when the story's about selling you something, then you think it's going to save you. And allegedly it's pain-free. At least that's the intention, because you can't sell pain to people unless they understand why they're in pain. So selling people pain-free stuff, absolution, redemption, massive absolution, selling you all their different tinctures and their protective suits. That's all story that people buy into. Literally, they psychologically buy into it, and then they take their money out of their wallet and they buy shit that's only going to accelerate their intention, which is resist themselves out of existence. And so if you're blaming somebody else, they better be putting their hands on you, right? Because it's not anyone's fault for the pain you're in except for yourself. That's religion. That's activism. Selling absolution, even trying to sell absolution masked as redemption. Nobody except you and the food supply can save you. There is nothing out there that can save you. No one out there can save you. It's between you and the food supply and all of your demons. And so on Netflix, there is another show, I didn't watch the whole thing, about how to become a cult leader. Now you see what people do out there all over Facebook. They become cult leaders and they sell people absolution. They sell them pain-free lifestyle, supposedly. They sell them meditation. They sell them outfits to protect themselves from the environment. They sell them certain foods that are supposedly better than other foods. Remember, I put my Facebook reels, I put Appalachian food. You need all of the meat, the milk, the cheese, the gluten, the eggs, a little bit of fruits and vegetables, but you need substance in this environment. The bigger people are going to do far better in this environment than the skinny people who are worshiping organic and non-GMO and no food because they're afraid of it. Okay? I'm telling you, what's his name? Bob Dylan. The winners will become losers and the losers will become winners. That's exactly what's going on. The poles have fucking flipped. Literally, the poles have flipped. That's what they mean by the poles have flipped. All right. And so, yes, your symptoms are your friend. They are the indicators. Small symptoms says that you have a pretty good immune system, right? So according to, relative to last year, the symptoms I've been feeling are actually small relative to last year. But somebody else who's not used to symptoms will think that my symptoms were like, oh my God, that's horrible that she has to sleep. That's horrible that she has to go and release the demons. That's horrible that she has to do, no. Because I know what happened last year. It was bad. I couldn't get out of fucking bed. I felt like my whole body was like lead. I felt like I was wrapped up in so much mycoplasma, like a web-like structure around me. I felt completely different. I was fighting a headache. But every so often I fight headaches, but it's not like on a continuous thing. How I release the pressure, I release the demons down there. That's how I release the pressure. That's how I save myself from being tortured, because I understand my alimentary canal. I know what's going on. So when someone says that they don't understand that symptoms are needed, so that you know they're indicated for you to release those demons, they are aging out. They're under the influence, they're aging out, and they will have a diet suddenly. That's what they're advocating. If they don't want to feel what life is and feel the pain of release, and they're always under the influence trying to stay cured, and they don't understand the physics laws, they don't understand that, then they will advocate diet suddenly. They will not understand symptoms. And most people around them don't understand it either. They're all under the influence too. So you really can't talk to them. But you understand that's the mentality that they are projecting. But I would rather deal with things today, not procrastinate and push it off till tomorrow. Because when you push off symptoms, like tomorrow, and it could be like 40 years of tomorrow, all of that stuff will accumulate and it'll come rushing back and it'll be tenfold, triplefold, whatever, tenfold, 100-fold worse than what you would have dealt with if you just dealt with it to begin with before you turn it into something like a monster. And that's what that's what the remedies do. That's what the surgeries do. That's what the cannabis does. That's what all the different medicines, they turn what could have been something very minor and released into a major monster. And then it not only ages them out, but it causes died suddenly. Okay? And so, yeah, symptoms are your friend. They are the indicators. Small symptoms says that you have a pretty good immune system, right? And that's all relative. So whatever you think is small. Large symptoms mean you have backed up your immune system and now it's coming back at you tenfold. And so it's the cumulative effect that is what is getting people. The died suddenlies or the major aggressive diagnosis. The cumulative effect of never dealing with your symptoms properly, always trying to anesthetize and drug it out or be under the influence from them. And you're not taking care of yourself. And so aging out is another symptom. With diagnosable conditions under the influence, that's a huge symptom. So aging out with diagnosable conditions under the influence, that's a huge symptom. So if you're like, I don't feel anything, I feel nothing, and they're under the influence, but they're aging out, and they've already been through so many different procedures, and they don't understand symptoms, and they're blaming the government and blaming everything around them, and they're all into the activism, that's a huge symptom. Activism is a symptom. Blaming is a symptom. Aging out is a huge symptom. Okay? And so aging out with diagnosable conditions under the influence, that's a huge symptom. Afraid of all types of food and intolerant to food is a huge symptom. Again, if you're under the influence, smoking pot, that's a huge symptom. If you can't feel it, eventually it'll be rest in peace. If you're using remedies, regardless, you are trying to mask the symptoms. It'll come back at you tenfold, and you may not survive the energy conversion. One more symptom, addiction to spicy food is a major symptom. That's using food as medicine because you're suffering and you don't know how to feed your body. And so you're taking less of the food to give you life because you can't handle life, and you're taking more of the spicy food, which is so much energy conversion that it's like putting crystals to your body. It's like using direct energy weapons like rife machines. I mean, that's what spicy food does. Because food is painful because life has become too painful. And that's everyone out there, most people. Particle acceleration, which is going on right now, is going to bring up every single demon people have ever had. And people are having a hell of a time facing their own demons. And so they go under the influence or they go and rest in peace because their body can't handle the pain. And so I made some fried zucchini and pig lard. Activated rain. Okay, that's what yesterday was activated rain. When I came home, my body felt like it was battered. Because not only were we out in this mist of the rain, but even before that, the storms were so aggressive that it already set the stage. And so going out was just even more so. Eating out in a restaurant, which is no big deal, but man, I felt it. And so I said, activated rain, hell on your body. And Antonio goes, activated in what sense, right? And I said, harp and cern. Because that's what, the activated water people are trying to drink, right? I mean, salt water is like an activated water. But there is this activated water where it's all been electrified and they're selling it in bottles and people are selling it like through their MLMs and stuff. That's like taking harp and cern and activating the water and making it so volatile that it wakes up your demons, or you're using so much of it that it acts as a cure. And then that's what's also going to cause people to diminish, deteriorate, and then eventually die suddenly because they're not replenishing the energy being used. When you're taking anything activated, you have the substance and the energy and you know how to respond to the energy conversion. And when you're taking something that's so much activated all the time, like the J juice, then you're being cured. In this environment, people are getting activated so much, right? They can't feel stuff until they do, and then they take more herbs and more extracts and more whatever, and it keeps them in a cured state on some level. But then when the climate shifts again, they get activated and they feel the pain and they go and try to slam it down. And it's a no-win venture. It's a losing venture. And so I said, he says, activated in what sense? That harp and cern is activating the rain and the storms and everything. Exactly what I hoped you'd say, he said. Glad we share the same similar levels of awareness. And I said, hell yeah, because you got to keep eating and feeding this energy. Everything is activated. The J juice is activated, yes, but you don't need so much of it because the environment is, and you have to keep feeding and releasing the demons. Like when I get those hives, it's the food that's pushing out all of those demons. Where they come from, I don't know. Were they in my genetic line and it has to be released? Or was there damage from the energy conversion and my body's releasing the damage and I'm replacing and repairing those cells? I couldn't tell you because I don't know. But I know I have to release those demons, whatever they are that's causing me the headaches and whatever else, and even the hives where I'm itching everywhere. And I have to replace that energy because you don't want to have entropy destroy you, which is the thermodynamics. So you have to then do negentropy. You have to balance out the plus and the minus. You release, replace, and you'll have a lot of release and replace in a very highly volatile environment such as this, with all the climate change and the storms and everything. And so, yeah, you got to know physics and understand it and want to understand it to survive this. You have to be more than just physically strong. You have to be intellectually strong and capable. And so Kim posted this on her wall about the sacred chamber was a special life-promoting environment where the dead were revived and incredible surgical procedures could be carried out safely. This technology is specific to Africans simply because white skin is too reflective and would not allow enough energy to be absorbed. The first pyramid was built by Imhotep, the African multi-genius whom the Greeks called Asclepius, their god of medicine. Okay. And so if you look at my page, there's a picture of Imhotep. Remember I told you, the first physician, where the dead were revived. and incredible surgical procedures could be carried out safely. This technology is specific to Africans simply because white skin is too reflective. I wonder what that's interesting. I'm going to have to Google that, but it seems like surgeries is like, and someone is on their way out the door. I don't know what he thinks. Why would someone be dead and they get revived by surgical procedures? Well, probably all the freaking trauma, but that's interesting. The ink. Yeah. Remember, the Rosicrucians are about the Egyptian, the Greek, all the different religions, the Jewish mystics, the Christian Gnostics, all of it. That's Rosicrucian. That's one world. Okay? And then I said, after last night's storms that was aggressive, I felt extremely tight. Like all my muscles were very tight. I had a headache and just feeling very weird. My husband and I did stuff in the morning and we went to eat, then went home and I had to take a nap fighting a headache. I call it activated rain because the rain is very aggressive now during climate change. All right. I expect that every storm I will deal with some shit in my body. I don't have arthritis, but my head definitely felt it. And even the back of my neck, I still have, there is still like a hump there, which is fine. Okay. But my mobility is much better. Sometimes I feel tight and I can feel weird. Like it's still tight but I can still move. I can still do stuff. All right. But this thing right here is so interesting. This is my immune system. Okay. And I'm looking at everybody else's back of their neck when I went to fin, feather, and fur with my husband, looking at everybody's back of their neck, and they don't have like a hump like this. And I know I'm dealing with something. I know this is a monk in my back. I know this is something. I don't know what it is. If it's in my genetic line, I have no idea. But I'm dealing with it. Okay. And so I expect that every storm I will deal with some shit in my body. I don't have arthritis. My head does feel it. My muscles, my body do feel it too. Okay. So I just keep feeding the energy. I have to replace every energy used with food. And so any kind of evolution, sickness, or disease, you must feed it all food or you will fall apart. And people are falling apart right now. Like they literally are. Their muscles are deteriorating. So they're getting the muscle wasting. Their bones are crumbling. They are falling apart in this environment because it's so aggressive. And then if you are already being treated for some kind of disease and cancer and all that stuff, it will take you down more than what you would have 50 years ago. All the different remedies and surgeries and oncology are deteriorating people's bodies tenfold. It is so much more aggressive now. You have to feed your body and release those demons, whatever the damaged cells that are torturing you. That's what pain is. The body's trying to release the damaged cells. People are not trying to allow it to do it. And they're not eating all food because food is painful and they're working so much. So you got to figure out, is it work? Are you going to work yourself to death or are you going to quit your job and save yourself? You can't save two things. You have to save yourself. But people's traditions are what's destroying them. It's crazy. And so any kind of evolution, sickness, or disease, you must feed it all food or you will fall apart. In this environment, stay away from spicy food. Stay away from only vegetables. You need the substantial Appalachian food. The only thing my husband deals with is back pain. He felt it last night. I tell him, I'm trying to catch up to you physically. I'm trying to catch up to him. I came into this world at deficit. I know it. I was born in war, the Vietnam War. And then who knows what my biological parents had to deal with in their genetic line. And so I have to catch up to everybody here in Ohio because they're built like brick shit houses. They're Appalachian, so they come from, England and Scotland and Ireland and all of that and Russia, okay? And so it's painful to catch up to people who have a much bigger physique. You need a bigger physique in a very aggressive environment. You need to have substance and insurance so your body has energy to convert. You cannot get away with being skinny in this world today. Not right now, because you can't make something out of nothing. And this energy is fucking aggressive. And so there might be guys that are really full of energy. Maybe they're ADD, ADHD, and they have strong bones. Okay, so that's their insurance, is strong bones, but they hardly have any fat to them. It's like the Energizer Bunny. They keep going. Then one day, done. Because all of that energy, if you don't really have a strong heart, and if you're They might have strong hearts, but if you're not reinforcing the body and bringing on the substance so they have energy to convert, then you're using up the energy in your body, and then it could be weakening your vital organs. Or you don't have enough energy to push out all the mucus, and some people, die. So that's the thing is those that are very skinny, that are very energetic. It's like the Energizer Bunny. One day it's going to be battery dead. Okay? So just because you're energetic now and you're relatively healthy now and you're skinny doesn't mean that this energy in this environment is going to capitalize on you and take you for more than what you have. And so at what point does a person who's skinny, who's highly energetic, are they going to calm down and bring on the food and feel the pain of adapting to this environment? Or are they just going to have a great life and then one day die suddenly? I don't know. See, what's the better life to... You see, I've never had a great life according to people out there. I've always had to struggle. So at this point, struggling and then getting to a point where it's going to be calm and peaceful for me, oh my God. That's what I'm working towards, is where everything's really just peaceful biologically, but not rest in peace. But it might be for a long time before I get to that point. Okay? And so at this point, what am I working for? I'm working to stay alive. What am I doing? I'm trying to stay alive and watch all this plan out, or watch all this unfold and watch everything. And then who knows? I have no idea what's going to happen in the future. For the world, I have no idea what's going to happen to my town in the future. I mean, it's bad out there. It's very aggressive out there. And so I must catch up physically to my husband because he is a country boy and I want to be as strong as him. Not literally completely equal because there's no way. I mean, he came in completely different than I did. But I want to be strong enough for this environment because that's the only way you're going to survive in this. That's the only way. Again, it is painful to evolve and change, but it's the only way if you want to survive. Remember, those who are bigger, you'll get bigger and bigger until you trigger the opposite direction, right? So if you're not doing the J world, not doing the JGs, but J world, and you're a bigger person, you get bigger and bigger until they're like, holy shit, then you go take, some kind of medicine or you get a surgery or you stay away from food. Then you get smaller and smaller, but then that train will leave the station and then you become nothing. You don't have anything to you. And so then, people don't know how to control the being bigger and bigger or getting smaller and smaller, whatever. So they employ drugs and surgeries to then take them down a few sizes, but that will also work against you. And so you have to understand your immune system. And of course, my method, because that's the only way you're really going to be able to release those demons without taking stuff through your mouth and causing you to compromise your immune system. Because again, when you're using so much J juice, you'll cure yourself and then you will not survive in this environment. If you're taking other aggressive detoxes out there, you are taking away substance and then causing the body to go through an energy conversion and then potentially weaken your vital organs systematically and or develop so many different offspring that they cannibalize you and cannibalize and take down your infrastructure from the inside, and then you become older and older and then fall apart. Okay? And so you must understand your immune system. And of course, my method in my book. If anything, everything in the medical or holistic system will take you down many notches in this environment. Okay? There is so much evidence to show you. Just look around you. And so what's the answer? Because I have the fucking answer. Non-spicy Appalachian food with no alcohol is the answer. Rest, release, relaxation. You can't afford not to. And wean yourself off the drugs is going to be the answer as well. You're no good to people around you if you're dead. Be the example of life. And yeah, it's painful because we're in a new environment. You must adapt to it. Appalachian food is the answer. Release the way I have in my book. And you must face your demons and release them properly. The medical, holistic, energy healing world is not the fucking answer. Food mitigation and saying food is poison is not the answer. Okay? That's starvation. That's why you are where you are. And so I have this picture of energy transference, energy transformations. And so chemical, let's say your food. Okay, food is chemical because water is a chemical. People are like, oh my God, chemicals are horrible. Okay, so you're saying water and air is horrible? Oh my God, but what's in it? Okay, we have EPA, we have the FDA. What's your issue? Oh my God, they're trying to kill us. Okay, those are an activist. They can't handle the world. And so chemical then goes to motion. Chemical transfers to motion. So I'm drinking water, I'm eating food, I have motion. And then there's radiant heat, hot heat, like the sun. It then causes chemical reactions. Heat causes chemical reactions, like in your body. When you're wearing a silver-lined suit in this heat environment, all that heat being trapped between you and that suit is going to cause a chemical reaction, and people will not be able to keep up with that chemical reaction, and they die suddenly, okay? So radiant heat then develops chemical reactions, energy conversion, biological cellular work, okay? And then you have chemical then develops motion. Well, obviously you have chemistry, and then that chemistry, when it's being activated by heat, then causes motion. And that's also taking energy from you. That's thermodynamics. And then you have electrical, which is HARP and CERN and Wi-Fi and everything. That develops heat. What's going on right now with this global warming? A lot of machines out there. A lot of particle acceleration causing thermal heat. And people are not keeping up with the energy. And so they're getting skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and skinnier and resisting the environment. And they're dying suddenly, or they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until they supernova, until they super implode. And so then they're like, oh God, I have a health issue because they're so big. Then they go on in Ozempic, or they do surgeries, or they just completely stop eating food, and then they starve. And then, of course, that's going on the death train, death line, whatever. All right, so let me read this thing I said about that. Activated rain is from charged particles from huge machines. Rain will be destructive. Storms will be even more so. Water is going to be people's nemesis, right? All the floods and everything. But you must drink a bunch of water. And, hold on. Solar energy may be renewable. But if you're not adding substance to yourself while your body's going through energy conversion, the sun will take you out. People died because they don't have enough energy to deal with energy conversion, or they had too much energy and their infrastructure could not handle the energy conversion. That's dying from heart attacks and strokes, right? Because your walls burst and then there you go. I mean, there's so many things, or there's blockage, okay? So dying from respiratory issues is because you don't have enough energy to push out the mucus. I remember when I was eating a turkey gristle that I was like, oh my God, this is so good. And I swallowed it and it was too big for my throat. I panicked. I looked at my husband like I'm choking, and all of a sudden my body just like and forced it out. Like I actually, if I was weaker, I would have either died or I would have been like that, and my husband would either save me or not, who knows? Or if I was alone, I would have died. But I have a strong enough immune system that my body will save me and push out that turkey gristle that I was chewing on and swallowing and not realizing that was too big for me because I was being gluttonous. I was hungry. And so dying from respiratory issues or choking is because you don't have enough energy to push out the mucus or push out that object that was lodged in your airway. That's why people choke by themselves alone, because they don't have enough in them to release that thing. And so you must understand physics. Okay, so my body saved my life when I was being stupid and swallowed something whole. Physics is not just hailing Einstein and Hawking. Thermodynamics has everything to do with why you die. When you die from entropy because you starved yourself out of existence. And it will happen quicker because we're in climate change. Skinny people will not do very well in this environment. People who are bigger can release substance and they can convert energy. But when you don't have enough energy to convert, you won't survive. Because either you don't have enough energy to release the demons, that includes demons in your respiratory system, or you have too much energy and you have a weak infrastructure, weak vital organs. And so you must understand what you're working with. You must understand the world we live in today. It's not fashion model skinny worship. That's the Pied Piper leading you down a road you can't come back from. Even people who work out will use more energy than they can sustain. Don't let Jennifer Lopez of those of the like lead you down that path of, oh gosh, yeah, look how hot I'm looking, right? Okay, 6-packs is not going to do you anything when you don't have enough of the fat, the adipose tissue to protect your vital organs from major electrical surges and energy currents. And so you can tell by how hot it is and how extreme the storms are because of how much energy. And so You need to survive. Hollywood is not what you want to be like at this point. Some places are getting more energy than others. You can tell by how hot it is and how extreme the storms are. Men and women, boys and girls, binaries or non-binaries, pay attention to your own survival because nobody will save you. If anything, people will take more from you than they can replace. That's your friends, your family, your activist, your guru, your energy worshiper person, your meditation, yoga person. They will take more from you than they're actually able to replace. And so the world is trying, oh yeah, realize this is not your parents' world and this is not your grandparents' world. This world is so much more aggressive than the world you came from. The world is trying to take out the weak. And if you are fifth or sixth generation, you might be the weak one. Now you have to build yourself up to the level of your ancestors before they reproduce themselves out of existence. But you also must stay away from your traditions or their traditions of medicine, which is why it weakened the genetic line. The world is not what you think, kids, okay? Energy conversion. Always uses up energy you must replace with more than what you used. For example, somebody takes $1 from you, they must pay that dollar back with interest. That interest will keep you going. Anytime anyone takes anything from you, they must give you back what they took from you plus something more. So you have something to convert, because as they keep taking from you, they will bankrupt the shit out of you. The interest is what you're living off of. If not, you have nothing left to give to the world. And that's everybody out there that's giving all their time and their money and their energy to people who absolutely have no intention of even giving back what you gave you, but even interest. So they keep taking and taking, all of a sudden you're dead. Equilibrium equals death. Not enough substance for energy conversion is death. You always must have more than what you spend, as well as what your environment is taking from you. Or you will go bankrupt in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, and in your bank account, spending all your money on herbs and remedies and protocols. And so when people are going to the medical system and the holistic system, they're taking away food, taking away their money from their bank account, stopping the body from releasing. So they're adding more of the devils and the demons in their body. And then those demons, it's like the Ouroboros, they cannibalize the person and they go on more protocols because they feel their body wants to push it out. But then the medical holistic system, energy healing world, are stopping the body from releasing. That's also all those EMF protection suits. They are blocking energy from being released, and they're trapping energy to cause more energy conversion in you. And that's what's going to take you out, is all the fear and the resistance. And people are afraid of food. I mean, this is all financial. If you don't understand finances, you won't understand this. You don't understand finances and physics. And so, yeah, if you're all about sexuality, whether it's straight sexuality, gay, or any kind of sexuality, that's the depopulation agenda as well. And so in a depopulation agenda, everything is game. If the system doesn't get you, the environment will. Parents have to be so strategic now. And so in California, they're going to teach all kinds of sexuality in class, in school. Well, if you homeschool, if you don't understand the environment, it doesn't matter if you don't teach sexuality at home. If you're still doing the same thing by doing remedies and surgeries and all the different therapies at home, and you're still teaching kind of the same curriculum because you have to, then your kids are going to die from lack of adaptation to the environment and whatever sexuality you teach them. And in the classroom, the kids are going to pass away from lack of adaptation to the environment, and they're going to be told how to sexualize themselves in some way. And either way, that's major energy conversion. And so parents have to be strategic now. I don't know how they're going to do it. Surgery is deadly. If you're going to be about sexuality, the system is going to want to bring in all sexuality. It's a no-win situation. Growing up is going to be brutal right now for children because the world is changing and people don't want to change. That's why the parents will save themselves if the kids survive their own childhood. 18 years of parental and government property, and the parent figures out how to save themselves, the kid might have a chance. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, my lordy. All right. So the whole thing with they clone Tyrone. This is what reproduction sexuality does to people, okay? Reproduction used to be for clones, right? So your kids are your clone. Now we can reproduce cells without using the traditional way, a mother and a father and a uterus and all that, right? And so sexuality will be for depopulation, not for nation building. The system has all the DNA they need. Now it's the scale down. Climate change, global warming, infertility, you could be sexual, but not reproduce children. Sperm cells tend to die when exposed to too much heat. Continuous exposure to higher temperatures can cause sperm production to be lower or cause the production of abnormally shaped sperm cells, resulting in infertility. As far as women, fertility is reduced because heat stress can damage both the oocyte and early embryo. The oocyte can be compromised by heat stress as early as 105 days before ovulation and as late as the peri-ovulatory period. So when men are all hot and bothered, they pixelate themselves because their balls are getting bigger, right? And then they start disintegrating because they have to release that pressure of all that sperm in their balls gives them blue balls. And could they deal with it and not release? Well, I don't know. I mean, they could potentially. That's seminal conservation. That would be saving themselves. But remember, men don't like pain, so they have to release all the time, right? And so when men are all hot and bothered, they pixelate themselves, then they disintegrate. Women might be infertile, and of course the heat will cause them to evolve, and food will be an issue. So starvation for both sexes, and of course releasing, will then release their body, mind, and spirit. And so that's the depopulation agenda, is getting everybody all cute and hot and bothered, and so they're producing so much sperm and they're releasing it, and so they're basically spraying themselves all over the place, and then the men become a shell of themselves, and women are producing eggs so much or having a bunch of children, and so they're starving themselves of energy because now it's into that child. And then also if they can't handle the pain and they're afraid of food, and so women will be using all the remedies against their evolution. And so both sexes are going to be taken out. Okay? And so they cloned Tyrone. Already knew America was the last greatest experiment. Already knew that. So groupthink equals clones. If you're not literally a minority by yourself, you're part of the system. The system of clones. If you're not pissing people off, then you're pleasing them. So you must save yourself, represent. And so, yeah, I mean, I would rather piss people off than please everybody, because at least when you piss people off, there's a reason why. You're not like attacking them personally, but you're attacking the lifestyle and the belief system. And people are so tied to their lifestyle and belief system that nobody wants to shake them from that tradition that maybe it's a deadly tradition. Maybe there's another way to do things to save yourself. And so when you're pissing somebody off, you're making them relook at stuff and you're causing chemical reactions. And then they might wake up from that, from being pissed off. And when you're pleasing everybody, then nobody has any impetus to do anything different except, oh, look, she's pleasing me. She's so lovely. La, 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 la. And I mean, there's a balance of both, but I'd rather piss people off and make them question everything than please everybody. People pleasers, they don't survive. What do you stand for when you're people pleasing? And so I said hives, food, excessive heat, and all that stuff. All right, so what's the main takeaway today? Yeah, you have to understand the finances of your body and the environment. And the environment is taking way more from you. And then what you surround yourself with, what you interact with, is also taking more from you. And how are you replacing that energy? How are you fixing the damage in your body from all that energy conversion? How are you going to prepare for the future? But we have so many temporary people that, that's pretty much everybody unless they decide that they're not temporary. And so that's the thing, is now that you're getting a choice. Are you a temporary person that's going to live out your life and be like, okay, I'm just a slave and do what I'm trained to do and then die, happy, I guess? Or are you going to be like, you know what? I was meant to be on this earth longer than what was given to me. And your ability to evolve and to change the way you say things, change the way you do things, is going to show the system that you have the ability to evolve, to change, and not resist everything. Okay? Because I'll tell you, the system wanted you dead, you'd all be dead. But we're in like a Hunger Games. We're in some kind of microbial battle, and it's personal. It's not something you fight against the government. It's not something you fight against other people. It's your own personal battle of your belief systems, of your behaviors, of your traditions. And so, yeah, you must understand physics. You must understand chemistry. You must understand math and English. But oh my gosh, that's just too much. Well, I don't know what to say. If it's too much, if I can't reach you to even give you some kind of impetus to do a little more research in your world, if I can't reach you, nobody will. Because I've been in this for more than 7 years. I understand physics. I mean, just understand the laws of motion and the laws of thermodynamics, which is entropy. Okay, the laws of finances. When you borrow money, that's why you pay so much interest. Because that bank is out that much money, and so every time you pay, you not only you fill in the hole that you took, but you're also giving them something to convert, so they have something to work with. That's what you have to do with your body. If you're allowing everyone and their mother taking energy from you, and you're not replacing and you're not fixing yourself and repairing the damage, and you're not taking a back seat to all the bullshit, then everybody around you, your religion, your politics, your science, and the environment is going to take so much from you that you won't have time to get back that energy plus then the interest. So you have insurance to convert. Skinny people don't have a lot of interest. They don't have a lot of reserves. Skinny people are going to be the temporary people because they don't have anything more than what they have. The bigger people, the fatter people, when you think about it, the bigger people have a lot of reserves, but they have to deal with feeling those symptoms. They have to deal with slowing down when they get asthma attacks. They have to deal with taking a back seat to all the crazy shit. You don't want to get so skinny, you don't want to get so big. Because coming back from being so skinny and coming back from being so big, it's a lot of work. Okay, I was really skinny back in 2018 when I was doing so much J juice. That building up that pressure and releasing demons. Oh yeah, it wasn't easy. And last year when I could barely even walk, could barely even stand or anything, no energy, last year was worse. This year, this July 4th, so much better. Will next year be better? I'm hoping so, if that's the pattern that I'm on. But I got to keep eating the Appalachian food. The Appalachian food is the answer. Okay? The non-spicy food is the answer. And you have to face the demons. Release that pressure. And if you're not doing that, you could eat yourself into oblivion. You have to release those demons. All right? All right, that's all I'm going to say right now. I'm going to go eat some food. But, yeah, it's weird. Everything's weird. All right, bye.